Should you go with the GoPro Hero 11 Black or the GoPro Hero 11 Mini? If you're like my wife and has an iPhone Mini, iPad Mini, and literally drives a Mini, the answer is pretty simple. Get the Mini. But if you are somebody who is more sane or reasonable minded, choosing between these two can be a tougher choice since both of these GoPro cameras share many of the same features and upgrades. But don't worry, because today I'm going to break down the 10 most important differences between the two to help you make the correct decision. And a big shout out to Melin Hats for sponsoring today's video. You can learn more about them and their premium hats designed for performance later on in the video. Now, one of the most important distinctions between the GoPro Hero 11 Black and its miniaturized version is the price. At regular price, the Hero 11 Black cost $100 more. However, if you plan on becoming a GoPro subscriber, which I think most will consider given how big the decrease in cost is, then the price difference between these two becomes only $50. Now, when it comes to size and weight, the GoPro Hero 11 Black is already fairly compact, but the Mini shrinks things down even further. Though when you compare the camera's dimensions side by side, the difference between the two cameras doesn't seem as big as they actually feel in use. If you're wearing these cameras on your head, your helmet, or using a selfie stick, the difference in size and weight does become a lot more noticeable. Now, the biggest downside to the GoPro Mini is the lack of a display. Where the GoPro Hero 11 Black has both a back and front display, the Mini has neither. Instead, there is a small status screen on top which allows you to see the battery life, current filming status, and how much memory is still available. Not having a display makes the Mini much harder to work with in some situations. While you can still see a visual of what you are capturing if you pair your phone, this is not always ideal. And if you use GoPro for vlogging or in really any situation where the camera is being controlled by your hand, then you're likely much better off going for that dual display that comes with the Hero 11 Black. If, however, you primarily strap your GoPro onto your bike, body, surfboard, or whatever, then the loss of a display is not going to really be a big deal. In fact, in some cases, like if you have the GoPro attached to your chest, the top screen of the Mini is actually a bit more useful. Now, because the GoPro Hero 11 Black is controlled primarily with the display, the Mini can be more limiting. For example, with the Mini, you'll be unable to adjust your custom settings without your phone. Though with the GoPro Mini can be adjusted quite a bit, and once you know your way around the options, it can actually be easier and faster to adjust your settings on this more simplified menu of the Mini versus the Hero 11 Black. Though no display, the GoPro Hero Mini 11 is able to provide an additional support for mounting. And while both cameras have a folding fingers mount on the bottom, the Mini actually has an additional mount on the back. And this makes the Mini much easier to place when wearing on top of your head, helmet, or chest strap. So again, in certain situations where you don't actually use a display, the GoPro Mini can be the better option. Now, before we cover the next 5 differences you need to know, I want to quickly tell you about today's sponsor, Melin Hats. As you can probably tell with many of my videos, not only do I frequently wear hats, but my hats tend to look pretty nasty after just a short period of time because I like to work out in them as well. Luckily, a friend of mine recently got me to try out some Melin hats, and I'd have to say that these hats have stood the test. I've been wearing them for almost all of my workouts, many of which with the GoPro attached onto them, and they still look as good as the day I got them. The difference in quality between this hat and my others is night and day, and while they cost more, personally, I think if you're somebody who is active, it's well worth it. And Melin has agreed for a limited time to offer 20% off if you go to melin.com/CTW. You can learn more about Melin in the link I've placed in the description below. Now, the next difference between these two GoPros is that the GoPro Hero 11 Black is able to take photos up to 27 megapixels, whereas photo capture is not available on the Mini. So if you plan on taking photos with your GoPro, the Mini may not be a reliable option. Now, personally, I've never taken a photo with a GoPro outside of just testing it out because I find it much more practical to just take video and grab a photo out of that footage. So for me, the lack of photo support makes very little difference. Now, both of these cameras use the same and improved Enduro battery, which lasts a bit longer and works really well in the cold. Though with the GoPro Hero 11 Black, the battery can be taken in and out and replaced, whereas it can't with the Mini. The battery for both tends to last around 60 to 90 minutes of footage, depending on the quality that you're taking, and this is more than enough for me, especially since I rarely go that long without turning the GoPro on and off numerous times. Now, if you need a longer battery life, you can buy more batteries to swap in and out, though again, that can't be done with the Mini. And a quick note about overheating, I have heard lots of reports of people having issues with this with these GoPro cameras, but personally, I haven't had any issues at all. Yes, if you use these cameras for indoor stationary video work at their highest settings, they will overheat pretty quickly, but I would never use a GoPro for that purpose, as even an iPhone would make a lot more sense and be able to provide even better indoor footage quality. When used in normal situations where there is some movement, I have never seen the GoPro overheat. And now here are the final 3 differences between the GoPro Hero 11 Black and the Mini. Difference number 8 is a mode called Hindsight, which is not available on the Mini. And this mode allows GoPro to capture 15 to 30 seconds of footage before you press record. A super useful tool that makes it so you don't have to worry about missing out on any great footage. Difference number 9 is that the Mini also doesn't have GPS. And while I have never personally lost a GoPro, I can definitely see the potential of it happening at some point. And having GPS enabled would allow you to use your phone to help find where the GoPro may have fallen off during your run, ride, or wherever you were using it. And finally, difference number 10 is that the GoPro Hero 11 Black has stereo audio with 3 mics over the Mini's single mic. I haven't really found the difference to be that noticeable, but here is an example for you to check out the difference for yourself. Here is the audio for the GoPro Hero 11 Black, and here is the audio for the GoPro Hero 11 Mini. Okay, so which GoPro should you get? Well, outside of price, I think the main consideration here for most people should really be the displays and how you actually plan on using the GoPro. If you plan on taking a lot of handheld video or vlogging or taking pictures, then the GoPro Hero 11 Black is absolutely the way you need to go. If you only plan on wearing the GoPro, whether it's on your chest, your hat, your helmet, surfboard, or wherever, and you value a smaller size and easier mounting options, then the Mini is going to be the better choice. Let me know which GoPro you think you would prefer in the comments below. Again, this is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts. Appreciate you being here as always, and we'll see you next time.